Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right, we're going to do a Mike Johnson and the funding bill for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, Palestine. It's getting more complicated. So you might remember a few weeks ago on a Friday before they went on recess, Marjorie Taylor Greene was going to bring a motion to vacate the chair because she didn't like the fact that Johnson got the budget passed. And then this week, Trump didn't want FISA, which is the allows the federal government to basically spy on foreigners. And it could, if they're, if you have a Russian spy in Germany contacting an American, either in the United States or maybe outside the United States, you could spy on that one. And Trump didn't like that because that's what got him his campaign into trouble early on. Now I am forgetting the fellow's name that was in contact with Russian agents and then bragged about it to the an Australian diplomat who reported it, and eventually that led to the whole Michael Steele dossier, the PP tape one, and then led to further investigations, which eventually led to the Mueller report, so on and so forth. So you can imagine Trump doesn't like it. They spied on my campaign. No, they didn't. They were monitoring spies who you hired. Russia. So that went through, and Trump wasn't happy about that. Then Johnson goes and visits Trump, and then they're all chummy, buddy, taking pictures together. And now Johnson's wanting to get these spending packages through, which the Senate approved a few months ago that Johnson hasn't brought to the floor because he didn't want to pass them because they had the border security on it that the Republicans in the House had insisted they include. So the Senate passed it with it, and now they don't want it. And now they're going to vote on the funding of the funding for Ukraine and Israel without the border security stuff on it. You can't make this stuff up. So after all that, they're not going to have border security. And why? Because Trump wants to run on border security. So he probably doesn't care that they originally tied. Now he's got to do that. The Republicans are in shambles at this point. Part of the Freedom Caucus is upset because they're spending more money and it's not domestic spending and where's the border security and da 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 da. So it's just mayhem. So let's go ahead. We'll throw on the mayhem. Well, maybe we'll get this hillbilly drunken brawl card as the signifier because that would be apropos for this reading. But Mike Johnson, what's the energy around you right now? By the way, he said he was going to try and get all four of those spending initiatives on the floor for votes this week, and then through a parliamentary package process, they would send the whole package as one unit over to the Senate to be voted. And that's got a bunch of folks in the Republican Party all up in arms too. Queen of Swords. Mike Johnson is basically establishing himself as this is going to be the way it is, deal with it. And you kind of have to be that way because literally it's like herding cats with the GOP right now. There's no unity. There's nothing but factional infighting going on. And you couldn't get all of them to agree on anything anyway. So I think he's just going to force the issue and say, deal with it. This is the way it's going to be. I'm in charge. I'm calling the shot. Deal with it. Crossed with the King of Pentacles, which would be Donald Trump, the candidate, the one who holds all the PAC money, and the Two of Wands, plans for the future. I think when Mike Johnson had that picture taken with Donald Trump, there was a message that was being sent that Trump wants this funding to go through. I'm not sure why, because certainly Trump and the Republicans seem to answer to Putin, and Putin doesn't want the Ukraine funding to go through. But the Republican Party does want the funding to go through for Israel. And I think they definitely want it for Taiwan. They probably could care less about the stuff going to Palestine for aid there. But Trump, by posing with Johnson, sent a message that you're going to let this go through. And I think the reason why Trump's okay with it is it still leaves him the border to run on, and that's what he wants all along. They just tried to slow down this funding because Putin wants them to slow down the funding, but I think they feel like they've run out of political runway for that, so now they'll pass the funding. Why? Because Trump still gets to run on the border. The border's not fixed. So Trump can say, oh, look at all these people running across the border. Biden administration didn't do anything about that. That's my guess as to what's going on here. In the past, 10 of Swords. Johnson was pretty much left for dead. And I certainly saw that he was going to be removed after he got the budgets passed. That it would happen because of that or soon after. And certainly Marjorie Taylor Greene, as soon as he had the budgets passed, had her motion to vacate brought forward. She hasn't implemented it yet. She's lying in wait. What she's waiting for, I don't know. She might feel like she doesn't have enough political support to get this across the finish line. Now, that being said, Thomas Massie, who's a Kentucky Republican, just went on record saying that he's going to support Johnson's removal if Greene brings it to the floor. Several other Republicans haven't revealed one way or another what they're planning on doing. Jim Jordan says, let's not do that. Chip Roy doesn't want to talk about it. So, let's see, anybody else in this one that needs to be heard from? Marjorie Taylor Greene's ratcheted down her rhetoric a little bit. Let's see. Bob Good, who's the chair of the Freedom Caucus, thinks it's a problem that he doesn't have the border security. Scott Perry says he doesn't is the one. We're not saying anything. We're anywhere close to removing him. Yeah, they really are all over the place on this one. So come on down. We'll keep going here. Current situation is the Page of Wands. Yeah, he's going forward. He's messaged. We're going through with this. Again, I think mostly because they want to get the funding to Israel. The Democrats have given them daylight. They want to take that daylight. And most Republicans, Democrats want to fund Ukraine. And the American population, for the most part, is behind it. The MAGA supporters won't be, but that's okay. They're not going anywhere. In other words, they're not going to lose any support by passing the funding to Ukraine, other than Putin may be a little pissed off. Overarching energy is the Star. I think because Trump gave him a seal of approval to do this, he's feeling like he's untouchable. Because Trump Trump posing with him sends the protection that he's okay to do this. So he's feeling safe and can move this forward and get another legislative victory, as it were. Lesson to be learned. It's politics. It's the agreements involving Trump. The extremists will be upset. The Democrats will support it. It's going to get through. And I imagine it's going to get through to the relief of moderate Republicans or Republicans that aren't in wholly protected red districts because they might be able to get reelected because they don't have this hanging over them. Outcome, the Six of Coins. Yeah, I think the funding is going to go through. Now, again, Trump was talking about wanting the Ukraine funding to be a loan. Whatever. The funding is going to go through. And I mentioned in the past when I've seen this card, it makes you wonder if they're going to try and reduce it or constrict it some way. We'll see how that works. But overall, I do believe the funding is going to go through there. Mostly because, again, this allows Trump to run on the border issue. And maybe his polling is showing that holding up funding for Ukraine or Israel is not popular. But there's still popularity in saying that the border is a disaster and it's all Biden's fault. So at that point, he's willing to, capitalize on a victory for supporting Israel and Ukraine while still maintaining an uncontrolled border, as it were, because, open borders and all that. And thankfully, the MAGA crowd, they don't care about facts. So the fact that, this same funding bill was tied to border security increases that Biden said he would sign and implement and falls by the wayside, it just shows you how non-serious they are. Okay, so the energy looks like this is going to go through. How about a quick four-parter? Does all the funding pass here? Knight of Swords, yeah, and quickly too. He said he was going to get it done by the end of the week, and we're at Tuesday right now, so they'll have to bring it onto the floor on a Wednesday. There's some mystery behind this. Yep, there's the approval. So there's going to be some debates, maybe some changes, or some behind-the-scenes things going on. This could be, assurances from the Democrats that, if the crazies try and vote you out, we've got your back on this one. Page of Swords, Empress. Does it get through? Yeah, I think it gets through. Everybody gets taken care of here. It gets passed quickly. It's bipartisan, and it goes to the Senate. It's going to pass. It's going to go to the White House and get passed. There's going to be backroom deals going on in case things go wrong, in case, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of this world come out swinging with their swords. There's going to be support for Johnson, and he will survive this round. It's funny. I was listening. I don't know what I was listening to. I listened to a lot of things on the drive home. I don't know, okay. Midas Touch, MSNBC, CNN, Brian Tyler Cohen, Glenn Kirshner, all sorts of things were playing on my phone as I got an hour drive, so I got lots of time to listen to things. And they were talking about, unlike McCarthy, where all the Dems pretty much voted to remove McCarthy, that wouldn't be the case with Johnson. And in this case, you can make the argument for it because he really is just doing his job. Now, the fact that he delayed 2 months, that might deserve a vote against him or 500. But, honestly, he got the budget through. He's just doing his job in this one, and that's not a reason for removal. Let the Republicans just mess things up more. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, now that Johnson has passed this, what's the energy around her like? Because now all of a sudden she's all trying to show how strong she is so she could be Trump's VP pick. She's got as much a chance as getting a dream date with Hunter Biden. What's she thinking about? Two of Wands. Oh, she's still plotting. She's lying in wait. She's waiting for her moment. Lord knows when that is, or what the trigger is going to be. Yeah, for right now, I think Trump or somebody she's willing to listen to told her not now. Right now, we need a little bit of unity here. So let's put your plans on hold. I think it might also be that she doesn't have a good feel that she's got enough support, that she's got the Republican Party support to get this done. Justice. Well, I mentioned before that I thought she got a target letter. That could be lying underneath it. But for right now, let's just say that it doesn't seem... It's like she doesn't have the backing for it. She can't make the case for this. In the past, she's feeling restricted. I might read a target letter into this too. She's feeling restricted. She wants to do something. She doesn't like how things are going. And she's feeling bound up right now. Current situation is heartbreak, betrayal. She wants Johnson gone. She absolutely wants to be the chaos agent of all chaos agents. And she basically was told by Trump, knock it the heck off. You're not doing this. And she doesn't understand why Trump's not letting her do this. She's so single-minded. She's not a great thinker. Not that Trump is either, but she's about as narrow a focus as you get. Overarching energy is the Ace of Cups because she doesn't think. She just reacts viscerally to things. And she's pissed. She's pissed she's not able to work to kick this guy out. She is basically being emasculated. Impotent rage. Just can't express her rage. She's being contained. Because there's agreements. Because Trump doesn't want it at this time. There are other things that Trump... and it's almost like Trump and Johnson have an agreement. And her doing stuff like this messes up whatever the agreement is. Again, she's pissed. She feels like Trump shouldn't be doing this. Almost like, she's Trump's #1 loyal fan. Why is he embracing Mike Johnson? Outcome, 7 of coins. She's gonna go back and she's just gonna wait. This is not Marjorie Taylor Greene's not the type of person who reevaluates anything. That would require some high-level thought. To me, she is, just waiting for her turn again. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to read on this as a target letter type of thing. That Justice card underneath kind of is what throws me with the target letter. She's a little bit concerned about a target letter. I think that's probably it. Okay, so some people were asking, what's a target letter? A target letter is something you get from like the Department of Justice saying that you are the target of an investigation. They're doing an investigation and you are not even a person of interest. You are the person we think who committed whatever crime it is. So they've interviewed all the other people around and they've narrowed things down and gone up, and you're the person that seems to be at the center of this crime. That's what a target letter is. And I think underneath it, that Justice card is she knows there's a target letter. She knows she's in the crosshairs of the Department of Justice. And again, I think she's trying to do whatever she can, reigning chaos and such, to avoid the consequences. And you might ask, well, how does her getting rid of Johnson avoid that? In and of itself, it doesn't. But again, I think she's trying to position herself as Trump's VP to protect herself from that target letter being implemented. And I don't know if that's really a viable strategy, but that's the best she's got. So she's going for it. Okay, what's the next big challenge for Mike Johnson? After this, or what is it that's going to, more to the point, what is it that's going to trigger Marjorie Taylor Greene to want to remove Mike Johnson? Or somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene to want to remove Mike Johnson? Could it be more Democrats than Republicans? Could it be he does something and they want him out? Let's see. 4 of coins. Money. Restrictions of money. Keeping information tight. That bribery. What's going on here? Okay, it's going to involve Trump. Whatever it is, it's going to involve Trump, money, and more money. Okay, now who did I have as the Knight of Pentacles? Here's the problem when you do so many reads, that I used to have a great assignment card for the Nine of Pentacles. Now I've forgotten who it is. I'm going to pause just for a second as I ponder here. Okay, I think I got it. I eventually sort of got to the point where I think of Melania as being the Nine of Pentacles, the woman with the money type of thing. Now, remind you, Pentacles are about money. Pentacles are about money. Pentacles are about money. They're also about health. So health and wealth. So let's say there's a health event involving your heart or your head, involving the guy who provides the PAC money. This is the same guy that made the deal with Johnson to keep Johnson on here. Let's say he has his health event and his wife files him for divorce, or, he's losing in court. He's to be incarcerated. His wife is divorcing him and he has a health event. All of a sudden now he's not in the political picture. So now it's open season. It literally is the teacher walks, if you could picture Trump being the teacher walks out of the classroom, leaving the students alone. Mayhem and pandemonium are about to ensue because it's going to be a free-for-all. I could be very wrong on that one. We'll see how the rest of the cards go, but that's kind of what I'm having. To me, it's like it's a health restriction or a monetary restriction from Trump. And there's a woman of wealth and means underneath here. We'll see how this all goes. This is also would represent like Nikki Haley, for instance, who, by the way, got a job at a think tank. So there you go. That's her political future. In the past is the Four of Swords. So I was asking, what's it going to take for like Johnson to come up? So there's some time has passed. 4 weeks has passed. 4 months? That would get us in August? Yeah, that's a possibility. This could be, 4 weeks, 4 months, 3 months and change, something like that. Some time has passed from Trump's deal. And basically asking Marjorie Taylor Greene to simmer down. Wow, that card's familiar. That was the outcome card for her. So now she's, again, looking at, fundraising, raising money, more money, political capital, political future. This was her outcome. She's been waiting. Now this is the present. She's done waiting. Again, I would say reevaluating. The woman doesn't reevaluate, doesn't anything. Overarching energy is the Three of Cups. Yeah, I think she's got enough people this time. She's got enough people this time to actually pull the trigger on him. He's no longer, it's like the lesson learned. He was He was protected by Trump, and now something has changed, and Trump is no longer protecting him. Basically, Trump throws him to the wolves. However this looks, Trump throws him to the wolves. Trump's poll numbers go down, and so, he's going to blame Mike Johnson for doing exactly what, that sounds right. He's going to blame Mike Johnson for doing exactly what Trump told him to do. Pass these funding bills. Pass these 4 funding bills. Get all that money out there, because I told you to. And now we're going to wait and see what happens. Oh, Putin calls, says, I'm not giving you any more money. Matter of fact, I'm going to start releasing compromat on you guys. And, the Democrats celebrate. Hooray! Justice. And now Mike Johnson is like, oh no. Or I'm not the star anymore because Donald doesn't like me anymore. You can see Donald just throwing him right under the bus. Then the outcome, let me get you all down here. Then the outcome is the lack of integrity card. Yeah, it's that, or there's an investigation into Johnson's lack of money, his non-checking account. There is financial things going on with Johnson that Trump's going to blame him for. I do think it's going to be funding related, though. If Trump does have a health event, and Melania is leaving, again, it's like the teachers stepped out of the classroom, and now the inmates are running the asylum, and they're just going to do whatever they want because it's performative art for their base. and they don't have to worry about the consequences because the far red ones aren't going to be held accountable. I'm liking that less. I still think that this is Trump throwing him under the bus. I think this is funding. I think this is going to be Trump on funding. Let's see what happens. And then, Putin's not happy. All the Democrats are celebrating because they've got this victory. The poll numbers are changing. Then all of a sudden, Mike Johnson's star has fallen. And even though he's done everything Donald Trump has told him to do, he's not valuable anymore. He's now going to be one of Trump's ex-wives. Be careful of the staircase and that hand mark, that palm print in your back there. I think I will leave it. Well, yeah, I can leave it. Well, if Johnson is removed, I've talked about Liz Cheney. I think that ship has sailed at this point. Hakeem Jeffries would seem to be a reasonable shot. Other folks see maybe a woman getting in there. Describe to me who the next speaker, if Johnson is ousted, describe to me what the next speaker would be like. This is what gave me that whole Liz Cheney thing about a year ago. Maybe not quite a year ago. Four of Cups. Here we go again. They can't find a unified candidate. King of Cups. Working, cutting deals. Strong emotions. Winner takes all. The next candidate, it's somebody that I was going to say, it's somebody they don't like. But I think this is going to be somebody the Republicans don't like. It's kind of look, we've gone through this. We went through McCarthy. We went through, the 15 votes on McCarthy. And Jim Jordan didn't make it. And Scalise didn't make it. And now we had Johnson. And, you're just going to have to do it. And we just need a function. Basically, they get somebody in there who can keep Congress functioning, can just keep the lights on and churning out financial related stuff that needs to be done. Somebody who's emotionally mature, passionate but emotionally mature, and it's kind of it's not that it's kind of it's a fairly nonpartisan candidate. It would almost be like either the Republicans lose the majority and Hakeem Jeffries gets in, or the Republicans have the majority and a few decide that they've had enough and they're willing to support a Hakeem Jeffries type candidate to get in there because they've had enough of the MAGA crazies and the evangelicals, and it's just like they just want a functioning government for the next few months. And this could even be Hakeem Jeffries like, why the hell would I want this thing? Good God, this thing's a mess. But no, that feeling there. So I don't think it's going to be Liz Cheney. Sorry, I'm gonna have to put my Liz Cheney crush back in the library shelf there. I don't think it's going to be a candidate that could be a candidate that nobody likes. So again, some people were seeing a woman go in that lasts for a while. I'm not really getting that. My guess is that it would be Hakeem Jeffries on a pretty evenly split House, or even those four cups could be. You have another 4 Republicans leave. They're done. They turn in their badges and gives the majority over to the Democrats. That could very well be as well. But yeah, my guess is Hakeem Jeffries will be the next speaker when Johnson's removed. And it's going to be a nightmare just because not a nightmare because he's the speaker, but there's just going to be a bunch of drama that goes on. And, people are going to be anxious. Democrats will be hopeful, but there's going to be a lot of anxiety, and eventually it's going to sort itself out. That's where I was going with it. All right, I'm going to end it here. I've gone on long enough. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so the video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.